Why is this rocket in space being called as naughty boy? Is India's foreign policy non-West or anti-West? And thirdly, with the new verdict or with the verdict of Supreme Court on electoral bond, there is still one challenge left. What is that? Hello everyone, I am Manas Srivastava and I'm here with three must reads from the Indian Express today. My first read comes from the explained page. Now you all know that explained page is very important, not only from the perspective of students, examination or aspirants, but also if you want to get beyond the headline details to enrich your knowledge. So the first explainer of today, which is titled as ISRO latest launch, why GSLV rocket is called as Naughty Boy. It is written by Alin Chauhan and Amitabh Sinha. Now, in this particular explainer, the first paragraph, as the practice of explainer is, it gives you the context. And the first paragraph says that the ISRO has launched a new generation meteorological satellite, INSAT 3DS, meant to carry out enhanced monitoring of the Earth's surface, atmosphere, ocean, and environment. Now, so this is what this particular satellite is all about. But satellite से ज़्यादा यहाँ पे जो सुर्खियां बटोर रहा है वो है that particular rocket. Okay, so rocket is the focus. But before going on why this rocket is being called as Naughty Boy, we all should remember that GSLV is one of the three main rockets used by ISRO. जो बाकी दोनों हैं वो हैं PSLV और LVM-3. तो ये जो फैक्ट आपको पता होना चाहिए. Now, why this rocket is being called as Naughty Boy? उसका एक पैराग्राफ है जो कि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, that GSLV had flown 15 times before this and 4 of the flights were unsuccessful. A very high failure rate of any rocket. तो अगर हम PSLV, LVM-3 और GSLV की बात करें तो GSLV it has flown so many times, but उसका जो failure rate है वो बहुत high है, इस वजह से इसको हम naughty boy कह रहे हैं. You should remember that LVM-3 has flown 7 times and never failed, और PSLV का जो failure rate है वो GSLV से कम है. But importantly, you should know that GSLV is more powerful than PSLV. So what is the problem? The problem is basically the cryogenic engine that powers the third and final stage of the flight. Now, cryogenic engine मैंने इसलिए stress किया because cryogenics is a key term. तो कभी direct हेडलाइन से क्वेश्चन ना पूछ के द बैकग्राउंड इंफॉर्मेशन से पूछ लेते हैं और क्रायोजेनिक यहाँ पे इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है. एक्सप्लेनर्स की खास बात है कि इट गोज इन डिटेल एंड एक्सप्लेन्स क्रायोजेनिक्स. सो क्रायोजेनिक इज द साइंस रिलेटिंग टू द बिहेवियर ऑफ मटेरियल्स at very low temperature. Cryogenic engine use liquid hydrogen as the main fuel. Hydrogen, the most efficient rocket fuel, is very difficult to handle in its natural gaseous form, but manageable in liquid state. However, it liquefies only at very low temperature, nearly 250 degrees Celsius below zero. The oxygen that is needed to burn this fuel also needs to be in liquid form. Oxygen is in a liquid state at about 90 degrees Celsius below zero. So, ये particular paragraph आपको जो है केवल फैक्ट नहीं दे रहा है, डेफिनेशन भी दे रहा है. तो ये छोटा सा पैराग्राफ जो है ये काफी इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहा है और ये बहुत रेलेवेंट हो जाता है टू एनरिच योर नॉलेज about space science. Now, fact to remember again that GSLV uses a cryogenic engine that is reversed engineered. Now, whether this design is Russian or US, that is something which you should find out when you read this particular explainer. And there's also a mention of MTCR, which is a missile technology control regime. Okay, so again, ये इस स्टोरी का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है, इसलिए इस पे ध्यान देने को आपको मैं कह रहा हूं, बहुत जरूरत है. Then there's another point to remember, that is India has developed now its own cryogenic engine which is deployed in LVM-3. LVM-3 was also used in your Chandrayaan 2 and Chandrayaan 3 missions. Now, इसलिए मैं आपको बता रहा हूं कि ये particular explainer हर तरीके से important है. Science and technology, space science, about the terms which are being used and about India's indigenous story to space. Now let's come to the second pick, and my second pick straight away comes from the editorial page. Now, I've always mentioned that sometimes these smaller editorials are so relevant because not only they give you facts, but also gives you a kind of analysis, a viewpoint which you may or may not use in your examination, but you will know a particular stand. Now, this particular editorial titled as A Variable Geometry. Now, recently there was annual Munich Security Conference, jahan pe you had External Affairs Minister of India, US Secretary of State, and German Foreign Minister. Now, ये काफी viral video भी था इसका, and there was a lot of talk around it because एक बहुत ही बेसिक बट बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट, बहुत ही एज ओल्ड क्वेश्चन पे हमारे फॉरेन मिनिस्टर ने अपना स्टैंड क्लियर किया, जो कि you would get to know that this is the government line, and whenever it is being asked in your questions of interviews or in your exams, you can know at least this is the view. Or the question was about our foreign policy or organizations where we are part of, are whether it's anti-West और नॉन वेस्ट. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे एक एंटी वेस्ट टर्म तो हम काफी सुनते हैं, बट नॉन वेस्ट टर्म भी यहाँ पे यूज किया गया. तो इस बेसिकली इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में दो इंपॉर्टेंट पहलू थे जिसपे क्वेश्चन पूछा गया. एक तो India's apparent freedom to choose between multiple partners. So sometimes you have with US and Europe, sometimes with Russia. So this freedom to choose the partners. And the second, that BRICS is dominated by Beijing and Moscow. So is it anti-West? So again, the question comes to non-West and anti-West. और हमारे foreign minister ने, the external affairs minister ने बहुत ही important line कही, जो मैं यहाँ पे quote करूँगा, जो first paragraph में है. Jaishankar said he would characterize India as a country which is non-West, but which has an extremely strong relation with Western countries, getting better by the days. Unquote. He added that the definition might not apply to other members of the BRICS. तो एक पर्टिकुलर स्टैंड क्लियर किया और बहुत ही डिप्लोमैटिक, it's a diplomatic statement where you can also, it's a foreign diplomacy, a very important statement now. And the second paragraph में US Secretary of State mentions, while he's talking about India-US relations and about this statement of our external affairs minister, he mentions quadrilateral security forum. ओके, तो इसीलिए मैं कह रहा हूं कि कई बार ये सारे टर्म्स भी और ये सारे फोरम्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन भी पार्ट हो जाते हैं एडिटोरियल के, व्हिच मेक्स यू क्यूरियस टू नो अबाउट इट. तो आपको सिंपली फाइंड आउट करना है कि कौन सी 4 इंपॉर्टेंट कंट्रीज हैं जो इस क्वाड्रिलेटरल सिक्योरिटी फोरम का पार्ट है. ऑब्वियसली एक तो यूएस है, एक इंडिया है या नहीं है, बाकी दोनों कौन है, इसके बारे में थोड़ी जानकारी आप एकत्रित करिए. नाउ जो क्वेश्चन आपसे बेसिकली पूछा जा सकता है इन योर इंटरव्यूज और whenever you are being quizzed around India's foreign policy is how seeing Indian foreign policy as non-West and not anti-West helps. Now यहाँ पे जब आप इस पर्टिकुलर एडिटोरियल का एक्सर्ट पढ़ेंगे तो आपको एक आंसर दे देगा that framing India as non-West and not anti-West, government shows self-assurance, leaving room for closer ties with US and Europe. So you should remember that US and Europe are very important partners for Indian foreign policy, India's growth story. तो इसलिए ये पर्टिकुलर स्टेटमेंट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है, जो कि आप अपने एग्जामिनेशन या अपने आंसर्स में कहीं भी कोट कर सकते हैं. Now coming to the third important explainer, जो कि फ्रंट पेज से आता है. आज तीनों इंपॉर्टेंट स्टोरीज जो है मैं न्यूज़पेपर से लेके आया हूं, जो कि है key aspects in poll bond case still alive, which is money bill route, and the excerpt says 7 judge bench to decide on petitions. Now why I'm saying this particular news item is important, which is written by Apurva Vishwanath, is mainly because अभी जो recent electoral bonds पे जो verdict आया है सुप्रीम कोर्ट का, जो कि अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल कहा गया इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड स्कीम को, उसमें एक एस्पेक्ट जो कि अभी रह गया है वो है द इशू ऑफ गवर्नमेंट यूजिंग द मनी बिल रूट टू bring in the laws that introduce the electoral bonds. तो ये particular issue रह गया है. Now, the second paragraph also gives you certain information which you should take care of. Please challenging the use of the money bill route, which allows a legislation to bypass security scrutiny of the Rajya Sabha, is pending before a 7-judge bench that is yet to be formed. Now, इसी से रिलेटेड एक छोटा एक्सप्लेनर बॉक्स है जो आर्टिकल 145 क्लॉज 3 की बात करता है, जहां पे ये कहता है कि a minimum of 5 judges must hear substantial questions of law that involve the interpretation of the constitution. तो ये पर्टिकुलर आर्टिकल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है जो कि इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में है. इसके साथ साथ आर्टिकल 110 जो कि मनी बिल की बात करता है, और यहाँ पे 2 पैराग्राफ मैं आपके नोटिस में लाना चाहता हूं जो कि सिंपली पूरे मनी बिल, फाइनेंस बिल, इस सारी चीजों को कवर करता है. तो पहला जो पैराग्राफ है जिसके बारे में बात कर रहा हूं वो है आर्टिकल 110 ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डील्स विद मनी बिल, अ बिल which in the opinion of the Lok Sabha speaker, ठीक है, underline this, deals with taxation or the appropriation of public funds in the consolidated fund of India or the contingency fund of India is considered as money bill. तो money bill क्या है, इसको define किया है, और a key difference between a money bill and an ordinary bill. ये जो question है ना, ये बहुत ही pet question है to be asked कि difference क्या है between money bill and ordinary bill is that it needs not to be passed or it need not be passed by the Rajya Sabha. So the Finance Act which brings in the annual budget is a money bill. तो इसमें इसके अलावा बहुत सारे ऐसे एक्ट्स के बारे में बात किया गया है जहां पे which lie under this particular question, लेकिन sometimes the front page news also give you certain important facts which become very important. All right, so these are my 3 must reads from the Indian Express today. इसके अलावा बहुत ऐसी न्यूज है जो आपको पढ़नी चाहिए, but especially these 3 news from my side. Do write to me and tell me about your 3 must reads on manas.srivastava@indianexpress.com. I'll be back tomorrow with my 3 must reads from tomorrow's newspaper and online. Till then, think smart, work hard, conquer your goal. Bye-bye.